Greetings! Today we're going to work on our label and we're going to change it over to a pumpkin label, and that will require us to change up the pattern. We don't want hops. We want to make sure that people understand that it's a pumpkin flavored beverage. So the first thing we're going to do is bring our pumpkin into be a pattern, and then we're going to double click on it to edit it in the pattern panel. Within the pattern panel, we can name this. So let's name it Pumpkin 2, because I do have some other ones. And let's see, do we want to do grid or brick by row? Brick by row seems to be pretty nice. It's really tight here. Give a little more width here. Let's see what that does. Oh, look, perfect. So there's our pumpkin pattern, which is wonderful. We're saved. So we can move this down and say done. And now I can select my background, select the new pattern. Of course, it looks kind of scary on that green, but we're going to change that. And so I'm not going to jump on that right away. I'm going to close that up. I'm going to move this hops off and move our little pumpkin in where he belongs. All right. And now what we're going to do is select the whole image. And we're going to go over here to the color guide. Within the color guide, we can take and edit these colors. So we're going to edit the colors. Now it comes up really scary because it's using a default color group. We're going to go over here to our pumpkin color group and change it. Still a little scary. How do we fix that? Well, that's when assign comes in. When we go into assign, you'll see that each one of the swatches has been assigned to a swatch from the previous color. So we need to look. Right now, Roxy's a very, very pale blonde. We need to get her to be a little bit darker. So we just press on a swatch and drag it up. Also, our dark brown is just a taupe, and so we need to take our black here and bring it all the way up and change it out. So we're getting somewhere now. You can see that she's a little bit better. All right, so our orange, I really like to leave as orange because it represents the beverage in the background. And there we have our greens. And right now, they're scheduled to go to a slate blue. Let's see if we have any other options that we like. Maybe instead of a slate blue, we could go to a yellowy green. Not too bad. If we don't like how this is laying out, we can jump back to edit, and it shows you all your colors. And you can decide, okay, so this green is not quite as pretty as I'd like it to be. Let's bring it over. But note what happens. Everything moves with it. So now Roxy's this shade of sickly green. And that's not the best way to go about that. So if we look over here in the corner, see where it says unlink the harmony colors. If we click that, suddenly now I can freely move each circle and make a decision about the color. That's a little too minty for me. I'm going to back it off and get it a little yellow. I can also take and go down to the sliders and pull some of the black out of that. That's what's kind of dirtying it up. So it's a little bit of a fresher yellow, maybe the color of a pumpkin seed. Let's take a look. And the blue. Do I like the blue? Do I not like the blue? Does it say pumpkin? I don't think it says pumpkin. So I really feel like that needs to be rust. So I'm looking, and here's my dark blue. We're going to pull it over here to the rusty area. Let's see. Oh, there's a nice brown. That could work. That could work very well. Now you'll note that my background isn't changing. And that's because it's a gradient and I didn't use a comparable color. So I'm going to have to do that manually. All right, and then we've got our pumpkin orange here. That's pretty good. I think Roxy herself could be a little darker. Let's see. Can we bring that up to a little darker? Is that Roxy? Yeah, there she goes. She's a little more pumpkin now. It's actually truer to her color. All right. So this is looking very pumpkin-y except for our gradient in the background. But let's take and say, okay, and then go deal with our, save the changes, yes. Let's deal with our background gradient. We have to go back to the gradient panel and we have to edit the gradient from there. Okay, so I've jumped in. You can see here are my points, and I'm going to take and double click on them to get the swatches, and I can go down to that edited pumpkin selection and say, well, let's try the dark chocolate. Oh, kind of like that. Now let's go to the other dot, double click on that, give it the brown. All right, let's click off. We still have our glow here. Do we want our glow to be green or do we want our glow to be a lovely orange? Oh, look, yummy, yummy. That says pumpkin. And the last thing I have is my border. My border is the only thing that remains blue. And so I'm feeling that we need to take some time to select that and change it out. Gray, maybe. I do like the green a little better. All right. So here's our pumpkin ale. You might notice it says amber ale here. So again, we need to take and do some fixing. That's typography still. So I'm going to go get my type tool. We're going to click in there, select all, change it over to pumpkin. And you'll note, if you remember, we did 2 layers for the pumpkin for amber ale, and we need to do it for pumpkin. We need to kern the U to the P, so we're going to take and hold the Option key down, move those a little closer. All right, so they're still readable, but they look like they know each other. Okay, now there's 2 ways we could go about this. I could just simply type pumpkin here. And let's select that. Let's make that beautiful orange that we have. So we go to our swatches. There's our orange. That's the fill. We need to take and do the outline in that bright, beautiful orange. Get our selection tool. And let's center that up by using the arrow keys on the keyboard. And now let's bring pumpkin in there and see how that looks. Ooh, a little dark. Let's see if maybe we can highlight the pumpkin itself, go from a brown to a different color, something more readable. Do we like the taupe? I don't know. How about the paler? Not bad. Let's see. Green? I'm going to give it a shot. You never know. Oh, I kind of like it. Highly readable, and it connects with the background. Excellent. Not a caramel flavor. It's pumpkin. Oops, looks like we've got 2 there. We got to get rid of one of those. Get our pumpkin over here. Pumpkin flavor. And let's, instead of saying malty, let's say hoppy. Hoppiness. All right. We have now created a pumpkin beverage, used a new pattern, changed up the arrangement of the colors. And we now have a label that is related to our other label, which is right this way. And you can see how they're related.